My name is Jitin Hingorani. I'm the founder and festivals director for the Dallas-Fort Worth South Asian Film Festival, the Long Island South Asian Film Festival. I also curate South Asian programming for Tribeca and South by Southwest. And most recently, I was on the narrative jury for the Kashish Queer Film Festival, which is the largest queer film festival in all of South Asia. So I'm so honored to be here. Carrie, Sahani, and I are friends, and thank you to the entire LIFF team for having me here. This is truly an honor. I want to start by quickly introducing our phenomenal panel. We have Mishaal with us. He's the director of Shoot Your Shot, the film you saw up there. We have the infamous DJ Ritu with us. We have the other half, Rita, with us. We have the director of Discovering Club Kali, Matt. And last but not least, we have Joshi from the Gay India Network. So Mishaal, I want to start with you. This was such a beautiful film. What a great film. Where did you get the idea for this? Talk about the impetus behind creating this movie.
Yeah. So the origin of the whole story was a combination of the experiences of myself and my best friend from secondary school, and lifted a combination of both of our experiences from year 12, I think, and so it sort of started from there, and then during the pandemic, I was like, I can't do anything else, and so I started to write it, and then we got funding from the BFI, which I was very surprised by.
Yeah, wonderful. So you and your best friend, it's kind of loosely based on your relationship. Has your best friend seen this? Did he have any part in writing this?
Ironically, I think I showed it to him maybe a month or two ago, and it was really amusing because some of the bits, some of the lines of dialogue were verbatim things which he has said, but then he started to speak about how some of the other stuff in the film is stuff which he had said, but just he didn't, and so it was this weird thing of he thought a lot of I think just he saw more of himself in it than I was sort of drawing from, but yeah.
Okay, I have to ask, what about this little motion right there? Talk about that idea, where that came from. Did that really happen?
I think it did not really happen. It was just sort of that idea of just a small gesture, which is to the other person doesn't mean much, but to the other one it's So yeah, it was just
Well, I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of these gestures tonight at the party. About this going on. Well done, well done. So Matt, I want to come to you next. I mean, Discovering Club Kali, what a wonderful film. I actually didn't know much about Club Kali until this film, and I can't wait to go now. I'm so excited. Obviously, you had a deeper reason to make this film. Talk about the Matt and Naz Foundation. Talk about why you decided to make this film and what that has been like for you.
Thank you. Yes, so my kind of connection started, I think, 2014, 2015. Ritu and Rita reached out to me soon after losing my fiancée Naz, who you heard about in the film. So it was really important for me to, honour the amazing community that. Oh, sorry. It was really important for me to honour the community that's such a safe space for. Many of the individuals who come to Naz and Matt Foundation for support, they go to Club Kali. So it was really important to honour the huge amount of work and the incredible safe space that Ritu and Rita have created over the years. And really it was, I just really want to say thank you to both of them for allowing me into their homes, their very private spaces, to be allowed to explore the side of both of them that perhaps many people never get to see outside of the club. So thank you both for that.
Matt, I'm curious, as a non-Asian, going into a very South Asian space and having so many South Asians that you're interviewing and working with, were there any apprehensions on your end about kind of how you're going to represent the story? Did you think about that?
Of course, I mean, it was really important for me to be incredibly respectful and make sure that, the contributors were fully on board with the project, and to make sure that, Rita, as the producer, was fully on board as well with the way that the story was going. I think, if I might share, initially, the beginning of the project, we had a few conversations. Initially, the film was going to start off with just a few Zoom interviews. And I said to Rita, if we're making this film, we need to do something a little bit bigger than this. I think your first reaction was, no, Matt.
Why? Why was that your reaction first?
Well, I think safety and anonymity was top of my mind. So, yes, it was locked down. I thought, oh, what should we do? Maybe we'll just get a few Zoom interviews together and just share it with the world. And then Matt was like, oh, no, that just won't do. And I'm like, no, but no one's going to come forward because we're protecting people and their families and so on. And many, many people are still not out.
Right.
But it just naturally evolved, and I think Matt was working really, really hard to get Rita and I in the same room, and it just evolved from that, and it just became alive. And I thought, Rita and I just constantly work, and we don't get time to pause and shout about the difference that the spaces make, because we're just so immersed in doing. And during lockdown, and when we were talking about this film, I thought, well, why shouldn't we actually share? And then also, we're not getting any younger. So I kind of wanted to share that and pass that on to the next generation, hopefully. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's how it evolved.
The archival footage that you've used in this is just phenomenal. Photos, videos. I mean, talk about that process in collecting all of this amazing footage and everything you've shown in the film.
Well, first of all, creating the new footage was challenging. As somebody who's been to Cali many, many, many times, I understand the need for kind of confidentiality and the no filming policy within the club space, within the safe space. So to be allowed in with the camera, it was incredibly important to be very careful with the filming of the new footage. When it came to the archival footage, I can't claim any credit whatsoever. In producer Rita here, I don't know what magic you pulled, and where you got it from.
Well, it was all those people that didn't listen. They were pointless, the no photography rule. But yeah, people just came forward and said, "Oh, guess what? I've got some footage," and we just pulled it together.
How long did this entire project take from start to finish?
Was it decades or years? It's a good few years.
Yeah, it was a good few years. I think coming on to 3, it was supposed to be a 1-year 6-month project.
Ritu, I'm coming to you next. You told me last night that you haven't seen the film yet.
No.
And this is the first time you're actually watching the film with an audience. What did you think? Honestly.
Well, it's going to take a bit of time to digest everything in the film because there's a lot in it. As you say, there's the archive footage. I'm surprised that none of the photographs from the infamous Club Cali bathrooms didn't make it on there. Because, there was groups of people that were coming for quite a while, and they just took photos in the toilets because they could get away with doing that, Yes, there's the archive material. There's people that we've known and that they're not around anymore, or some that are, so there's all the faces to digest, some of the people that have been in and out of Cali, the generations that have come and gone, and of course, you kind of feel a real sort of attachment each time you see another face pop up. There's the press cuttings. Of course, there's the scenes from within our homes as well, and it's a lot to digest. But I think Matt has done a fantastic job, and it's not easy to pull together all the different strands and memories of a club that's been around actually for almost 30 years. It's because they took so damn long making the film. It's not the 25th anniversary movie, is it? It's the 28th anniversary movie.
But you know, as someone who's worked in radio for a majority of her life, how does it feel to see your life on display on television like this? I mean, was that jarring for you? Because now the world is here to see it, right?
Yeah. Well, I might just hide away for the rest of my life now, I think. Yes, it is jarring. I mean, when I started in radio in the early 90s, you didn't need a good face for radio, and quite clearly I don't have a good face for radio now, or for TV. Yes, it is really strange. I'm used to hearing my voice sometimes, but not seeing.
Yeah. Joshi, I want to ask you about the Gay Indian Network, its relation to Club Kali, and kind of your journey on this 25-year.
Look, thanks, Jitin. I'm feeling quite emotional. Here we are. I'm looking at this audience, so many people, and this audience, brown queer love here, brown queer power and strength here. This is the legacy of Club Kali. Make no mistake, from there we are here. This is part of the journey. I mean, that scene of queuing up in front of the dome. I have so many friends here. Many of my friends used to be in that queue as we queued up to go into the dome in Tufnell Park. I happen to live 5 minutes from the club. And, and Rita would come down and with a beautiful beaming smile, she'll be welcoming us all in. And then we go up those stairs and there's friends we knew, Vipul at the cloakroom, Manjit wandering around, and of course DJ Ritu. And it just felt really good. It felt like home. Well-being, mental health, it all really helped me. And because it was 5 minutes from my house, and the scene of all the crisps and the snacks and all the tables. I would be the person walking around by the end of the night from table to table eating them all. And if I was lucky, I would meet some lovely boy and take him home. And that brings me on to another important point, which really is worth mentioning: sex and Club Kali. Now, I'm going to make an important point.
I didn't know we were going there, but sure.
Many people I know will be probably a little bit nervous now. But look, I was a young brown gay man, and in the, let's call them the mainstream clubs, I mean, JY has been mentioned, Heaven's been Heaven, mainstream, whatever, Soho, or as I said, white gay men-dominated clubs, I did not feel as sexually attractive. I didn't feel as physically attractive. Club Kali I did, but there were only two clubs at that time where I felt physically, wanted. Club Kali was one, and the second one, interestingly, was El Sombrero in the LSE, London School of Economics, the Latino, Colombian, Brazilian club.
Exilio.
Exilio Latino, yes.
Exilio.
Sorry, Exilio Latino, yes, at the LSE. All the boys and girls from Exilio Latino would be at Club Kali. And when DJ Ritu would put on the Hispanic, Latino music, when La Bamba came on, everyone would be on the dance floor, For me, that wanting to be have guys who physically fancied me was important. It helped my well-being, By the end of the night, I should add, it got fairly steamy on the dance floor at Club Kali. There was a fair amount of kissing and petting. But again, I think that really, it's helped my well-being, and it helped so many people. That was the safe space provided for us. And I met other brown guys that liked me and fancied me and would come and talk to me, which often, that was quite hard to do in the 90s.
I mean, the thing is, we were largely, as two women running the club, we were largely oblivious to a lot of the action, but because, we really saw the club as a place that was very similar to the film we watched earlier, Her Canvas, all kind of floaty and, all love, Bollywood, And I think that's probably why it was a really good space for quite a lot of the gay men that came there. because they thought we just didn't know and didn't notice anything.
I want to ask, where is this film headed next? What's the journey? Are you planning on taking this to other festivals? Have you thought through the distribution of this film?
I'd love to give you a wonderful answer to that question. Not yet, no.
Well, congratulations on your world premiere.
We'd just like it to grow, and we'd like, as Ritu said, world peace, unity. We just want people from all walks of life across the globe to provide a safe space. And a safe space is really, really important to both of us because of the background and the work that we've done. We don't feel that you can actually explore yourself and be who you are if you don't feel safe in a space without judgment. So, and then of course the culture and the faith and all of those aspects come into play. A lot of people struggle with mental health, families. It's so complex and so layered. So safe spaces across the planet. But with that, there's the musical aspect.
Well, this is precisely why the club has, to some degree, tries to maintain a no photography policy, but it doesn't work. It's exactly for that reason. When we first opened the club, we were subject to all kinds of threats from homophobic people, religious people, et cetera, et cetera. So, and we've talked a lot about trying to keep people safe and protect people, and that's still very much on our agenda. I think we're in a very different kind of world now, whereby much younger organisations like Jitin, for example, or others, they're now able to kind of go and nominate each other for awards, for example, But when we started Club Cali, awards weren't an option. They were, we were more used to death threats, not awards. And that was certainly the case prior to Club Cali starting in 1995. If I think back to the kind of anxiety that Shivananda Khan felt when he set up Shakti and then the NAS project. And I worked very closely with Shiv. I was one of the founding members of Shakti and, chair of the management committee out for a year as well. So it was a very different world back then. And, I don't think that's left us. It's something we will always remain very conscious of.
I will just add that people still, even now, turn up homeless, beaten up, and we still face a lot of discrimination and issues out in the world. So it's about the safety, it's about support, and you, the community that is Club Cali, are members who support each other. That's the power of, I think, what we've created. And the second thing is that we work collaboratively with community organisations, and often we refer people to each other, like Naz and Matt Foundation do a lot of work, a lot of other charities do work, but there is a long way to go because, if people are still turning up at the club homeless, or we're still picking up people in the toilets who are self-harming, people still dealing with issues around mental health, addiction, and so on, we're still a long way off, and that's why we've evolved and we're reaching out to professionals and working together to provide a package of support. So yes, there is the fun element of the club nights, and we all need joy, as the range of films demonstrated, that we need lightness in life. We need those moments when we can be whole and free and forget about those things. But then there are the times when we have to address it and we have to reach out and work together. It's all about collaboration and community and reaching out to support our people, really. So yes, we are still struggling with that.
Okay, well, I mean, Club Carly has sort of changed very significantly over the last 5 years. It's now Club Carly Network, which is the part that Rita now runs, and I don't really have much to do with. I guess the brief of what she's doing is quite different to the club part, which was always my thing. But we are coming back as a club as well. We'll be celebrating our 28th birthday back at the Dome, our spiritual home. And that particular party will be on Friday, July the 21st. So better make a note of that. And yes, the plan is to actually bring back the actual club nights because I need something to do. So and there's so much great music still to be played. But I would also just like to emphasise a number of things around the music side. I mean, firstly, you know, I believe wholeheartedly in the power of music to bring people together, and I think that's actually what I've been trying to do for a lot of my 37 years of being behind, some decks, and I think I've seen that happen perhaps in the biggest and most obvious way at Club Carly, whereby we very much have brought people from different cultural backgrounds together, different ages and generations, and of course all the genders in between, but through a kind of a sort of a brown sort of lens and or a musical lens. But I think for those of us that are LGBTQ+, another thing to bear in mind is that much of our socialising has largely been in bars and clubs. I mean, we've not really had, the restaurants or the this or the that, the other kind of social spaces as much as perhaps people who are not LGBTQ have. So I know that when I was carrying out some research into our community during the pandemic for Strathclyde University, what came up time and time again was that we've got this running soundtrack to our lives, and it's particularly strong for LGBTQ+ people. The song we remember from our very first time at the very first gay club we ever went to, or the first time we fell in love, or the time that we were dancing all together with the friends that have now become our lifelong friends and kind of like our community, our support group, our chosen family. So I think Club Carly, that aspect of Club Carly is very, very important. And another thing that we've also done is, we've changed the way that the LGBTQ scene itself operates. We've somehow became this kind of sort of jewel in the crown of that. And I think Shakti Disco beforehand, made a start in doing that. But I think Club Carly established a much more diverse presence on the queer scene generally and within the press and the media, because they didn't really want to know. When we started Club Carly in 1995, the press and the media, the gay press and the media didn't want to know. And also they couldn't actually tell the difference between the word Shakti or the word Kali. And so, whereas now, they know we're here.
And here to stay.
We're here and we're here to stay.
Yep.
Yeah, we were actually quite demanding in the past. We used to get coach loads of people coming from, not unfortunately from Glasgow, but from Leicester, Birmingham, Manchester, and so on, Bradford as well. And then once some similar clubs were set up in those areas, we didn't actually go off to those areas ourselves. We did actually try and run something in Manchester in the early days, and we were part of the forming of Club Zindagi as well. And of course, have always been very supportive to Saathi in Birmingham. I think we were very glad that people had somewhere local to go and didn't have to travel all the way to us. I think now the idea of actually travelling to another part of the country that we don't know, it's not our territory, would probably terrify us even more now that we're old. And but yeah, you're right. I mean, we need outposts like this everywhere, don't we? You know, it's so necessary, for sure.
Can I just add something? And I think it's really important. This idea of our collective history as brown queer people, our legacy. Shakti was hugely important to me. At that time, I was 22. And again, I have some friends from Shakti. DJ Ritu started Shakti along with Shivananda Khan and some other wonderful people. Shakti did a fantastic job bringing a community, quite a community that was really struggling together. Then Club Kali happened, and at one time Club Kali was the only space. That was the torch, and we all ran to it. Jin, the Gainder Network, which I started, it was their inspiration, make no mistake. I wanted to recreate something like Shakti. I wanted to be where 20-year-old Joshi could go to again. You know, and of course there's a lot of lovely things available, a lot of options. But I think that's a huge debt we owe to both of you. You know, I am a punt of Club Kali, I'm a customer of Club Kali, and I see it from that wonderful, enriching side. You were the hosts and the owners, and it's lovely to see your story on there. So thank you so much for that. And thank you, Matt, for making it.
I want to end, unfortunately we don't have time for any more questions, but I want to end by thanking Kerry Sawhney and his team for creating a platform like this for these kinds of films. Too Desi Too Queer has become a cult for people all over the UK, and thank you, Kerry and Krishil and the entire LIFF team for having all these beautiful films up.